I've already talked about the worst offers in Clash Royale already, but it doesn't paint the whole picture. It's kinda hard to believe this based on what's happened in the past couple of years, but Clash Royale has genuinely good offers, or at least it used to. So it's only fair on them that I talk about the best offers since I've already talked about the worst offers. So in this video, I've collected a bunch of special offers in order to truly find out what is the best offer in Clash Royale history. These deals were Clashmas 2021 specials, starting with the cheapest one at $22.50. Clash Royale was selling 2,500 gems, a magic coin, 125 epic wildcards, 2,000 common wildcards, and a royal wild chest. We know that 2,500 gems on its own is $20 US, but evaluating the price of the other aspects of this deal may be a little tricky. We can assume that the royal wild chest is worth around 750 gems, as I've seen shop offers of them being worth around that. 750 gems is worth around $6.25. The magic coin was a part of the $5 pass royale at the time, so I'll just assume that it would be valued at around $3. The wildcards are a little tricky to give a definite value of. If we look at this offer of wildcards, we see that both 4,000 common wildcards and 150 epic wildcards is $4 US. This gives us a value of around $4 for the wildcard part of this deal. Combining each component if you would have bought it separately gives a total of $33.25. When we compare this to the cost of the deal at $22.50, you're really not saving that much, but that's because this is the worst value of the lot. I honestly think that the second cheapest offer here isn't that good either, costing $55 US. It has 6,500 gems, 250,000 gold, 5 legendary wildcards, 200 epic wildcards, and a royal wild chest. Once again, we know that 6,500 gems is worth $50 US on its own, and the royal wild chest is worth around $6.25. We can just assume 250k gold to be worth around $5 US, and the wildcard aspect of this deal could also be around $8. This brings the total value of this deal to around $70 US, once again providing similar value to the cheaper deal, but the most expensive deal of the lot is the one that stands out for me. For $80 US, it included 14,000 gems, 500k gold, 10 legendary wildcards, and 200 epic wildcards. 14,000 gems in itself is already $100 worth of gems, and the royal wild chest again is worth around $6.25. On its own, this makes the total value of the deal $106.25. If you think about it, 500k gold is 5 full magic coins, but I've seen shop offers for 500k gold included with other stuff, and I predict it to be worth around $7.50. 10 legendary wildcards would also be worth around $5, and 200 epic wildcards would be worth around $5 as well. This gives the total value of this offer at $123.75. While this deal doesn't quite match up with the value written on it, it's still a really good deal overall. However, the fact that it costs a whopping $80 without providing insane value makes it rank pretty low on this list. This offer comes from 2016. Many players regard this as the best offer in the game's entire history, and to be honest, I would have kind of agreed even up till 2020. For $12 US, Clash Royale was selling a legendary chest, 1,200 gems, and 100k gold. It's hard to understand truly how valuable this was back in 2016. Legendaries were already extremely difficult to obtain because there were no magic items, and the only chest that you could guarantee a legendary was in a legendary chest and a super magical chest, and these chests were rare if not very expensive. So the fact that it was included in this bundle makes it so valuable. But then there's the gems. 1,200 gems is worth around $10 US on its own, and back then, gold was worth much more as well. 100k gold was very valuable back in 2016 because the sources of gold were limited, so the fact that you could get 100k gold in this deal easily makes it a very well-rounded deal. However, it's hard to admit it, but deals have gotten much better since 2016, but for 2016 standards this was as good as it gets. This next deal is one of the largest of the entire video. 8 legendary king's chests and 8,000 gems for $100 US. This one's pretty easy to calculate the true value of. A single legendary king's chest is $20 US since it costs 2,500 gems, so it's fair to say that 8 of them would be worth $160. And then on top of that, 8,000 gems is worth around $60 since there's 1,500 gems more than the $50 option in the shop for 6,500 gems. That makes the total value of this deal $220. So it's around 2 times value. It's often really difficult for such a large deal to be more than 2 times value, since you are literally spending $100 on a free-to-play mobile game. I don't actually know who bought this, since $100 is way too much, but it's still good value nonetheless. Okay, I lied. Deals did get better in 2016. During Clashmas 2016, this deal showed up in the shop and it was really good. Starting with the deal on the left, which in my opinion is the worst value of the lot. Clash Royale was selling a giant chest and 1,200 gems for $5 US. A giant chest was worth 500 gems in the shop in 2016. So the fact that this deal had a giant chest worth $5 US and 1,200 gems worth $10 makes it worth around $15 in total, making it 3 times value. But it gets better. The deal in the center was worth $10 and had a magical chest and 2,500 gems. Once again, if we look at magical chest prices at the time, they were around $9 which is 900 gems. We know that 2,500 gems is basically worth $20 so this deal was actually worth around $29. Once again, this is basically 3 times value. Finally, what I think is the best value of the lot was the $20 package for a super magical chest and 6,500 gems. A super magical chest was worth 4,900 gems in 2016. So this means the total gem value of this deal was a whopping 11,400 gems for $20. For some context, 11,400 gems would be worth around $81 if we factor in the $100 deal for 14,000 gems. That makes this deal 4 times value. Back in 2016, this deal was so helpful for progression that I would say it's the best shop offer of 2016, but the offers do get better. I guess players were disappointed by 2021 Clashmas because Clash Royale really went all out for the 2022 Clashmas offers. Starting at the cheapest offer, for $4 Clash Royale was selling 25,000 gold and 2,500 gems. 2,500 gems are worth $20 alone, and 25k gold is worth around 50 cents at most. This makes the total value of this deal $20.50, which is over 5 times value, but it gets better. For $15, Clash Royale was selling 2 epic book of cards, 50k gold, and 5,000 gems. We can assume that 5,000 gems is worth around $40 alone. And the epic book of cards, while they could have been gotten for free from the old Pass Royale at the time, it would probably be worth a max of $5 each, which is fair enough since it can cover a max of 200 epic cards. Finally, 50k gold is worth around $1 max, so this makes the total valuation of this deal at $51, meaning this deal was easily 3 times value. But it gets even better. $35 would have gotten you 10,000 gems, 100k gold, and even a legendary book of cards. 10,000 gems in itself is easily worth at least $70 if we look at the gem shop, and 100k gold is the equivalent of a maxed magic coin, so I'll just assume it to be worth around $3. And the legendary book of cards has to be worth at least $5 as well. I know it's more rare than the epic book of cards, but if we consider anything more than $5, it makes no sense, since $5 could have bought you a book of books and other stuff from the Pass Royale at the time, and assuming $5 for a max of 20 legendaries is a pretty fair trade. This makes the total value of the deal $78, making it 2 times value. But the best deal of all is $100 for 14,000 gems, 280k gold, 2 books of each rarity, and a magic coin. 14,000 gems on its own is worth $100, and the magic coin once again is worth around $3. If we assume each book of cards to be worth around $5, it makes the total value of the book of cards around $40 since there's 8 of them, and 280k gold is easily worth $5 on its own. This makes the total value of this deal $148, even though it's not 2 times value. The reason I think this part of the deal is one of the best is because of how much progression you can get from it. Even as a free-to-play player, I have to admit that this deal is seriously good. If used correctly, this set of magic items could have been used to easily max at least 2 decks, but even then, the offers do get much better. The more attentive of you may have realized that the 2022 Clashmas deal could have easily been attained from multiple Pass Royales, and that's true, which is why I think the 2022 Pass Royale is much better than the Clashmas offer. It was actually so good value that it probably was the most broken aspect of the game in 2022, more broken than the Monk and Phoenix at release. For only $5, you got crown chests that contain hundreds of thousands of gold, thousands of cards. At specific tiers you got different amounts of wild cards, a book of cards of different rarities every season, a free royal wild chest, a book of books, and a magic coin. It's hard to understand truly how overpowered the 2022 Pass Royale was. The book of books was worth $20 on its own due to the fact that it could cover a max of 20 champions, and champions were very difficult to obtain due to it being restricted to only level 14 players. But then there was the royal wild chest, which was free as well, being valued at $6.25. The crown chests can technically be assumed to be free, since they are the bare minimum that Clash Royale can give to aid guaranteed progression, but the inclusion of the free book of cards also increases the value by at least $5 once again, and then the inclusion of wild cards adds at least $2 to $3 of value, and the fact that the Pass Royale included a magic coin, which keep in mind could have been worth up to 100k gold, adds around $3 of value to it as well. Pass Royale players also had a gold bank that would fill up throughout the season, as well as having a chest queue and free re-entries into events. This makes the total value of the 2022 Pass Royale around $40 US. And keep in mind here, I'm being really generous. The fact that you could max out any card without using up any resources and pay only $5 as well, and collect hundreds of thousands of gold, re-enter challenges and queue chests, not to mention the free champion and free book of cards, made the Pass Royale broken. In my opinion, it was one of the most broken parts of the game in its entire history. Even the nerfed 2024 Diamond Pass is still broken at $11 US. It just goes to show truly how overpowered the 2022 Pass Royale really was. This deal is pretty hard to obtain, but if you do get it, it provides a lot of value. 500 gems for getting the rewards at 15 wins in a global tournament. 500 gems is worth exactly $5 US, and if you hit 15 wins in global tournament, which means you would need a 70% win rate, you could get 50k gold, 50 rare wildcards, a legendary wildcard, 5 epic wildcards, an epic chest, a giant chest, a legendary king's chest, 100 common wildcards, a chest key, and a magical chest. Let's break down the chests first. The legendary king's chest is worth $20 on its own because it costs 2,500 gems to buy from the shop, and the magical chest used to be worth 900 gems in the shop, which is pretty fair since it's a lot better than the fortune chest, which is 750 gems. I'll just assume the giant and magical chest to be worth $10 total between them. The epic chest contains up to 20 epic wildcards, so if we consider that conversion rate, I'd say it's worth around $3. The wildcards wouldn't be worth much since they could be obtained for free from the season shop or even from the old Pass Royale, so I'll just consider them as $1 each. So $3 total from wildcards. If we also consider the chest key as a free speed up on any chest, and the max amount of gems you can spend speeding something up is 144 gems, it means that a chest key is worth around $1.44. And finally, 50k gold wouldn't be worth much either, since it can still be obtained for free from crown chests, so I'll just assume it to be worth around $2 to $3. This makes the total dollar value of the 15 win prize $40.44. This makes a similar value to the 2022 Pass Royale, but the thing that separates this deal from the Pass Royale is that it wasn't restricted to pay-to-win players. Free-to-play players could claim this for free by using gem rewards from masteries as well. I don't think there's many deals that's better than this. For a single pound, Clash Royale was selling 2,500 gems. I should note that for the US player base, this would also cost $1. Normally, 2,500 gems costs $20 US, so this deal was genuinely 20 times value. Who would have thought? However, the thing that makes this deal kind of annoying is that it was only presented to particular players. It's not like every player was presented this, but the fact that it's cheap and provides so much value makes it easily one of the best deals in the game's entire history. This next deal was surprisingly good, considering it was presented to players in late 2023, after Clash Royale had nerfed the Pass Royale. Starting with the cheaper of the lot, for only $3.50, Clash Royale was selling a book of books and 75k gold. Now, this was only $1.50 cheaper than the old Pass Royale, but in terms of value it was insane. So insane that Supercell might have underestimated it here. I'd say it's at least 7 or 8 times value. The book of books is the most valuable magic item in the game's entire history, so the fact that it was selling with a bonus of 75k gold for only $3.50 is genuinely a steal. If the person that bought this deal used it to upgrade a champion from level 13 to level 14, then I would say it's worth at least $20 US. And 75k gold is still really good, since you can use that to upgrade the champion in question. You only need 25k gold extra, which isn't a problem because the deal on the right is much better and has the extra gold that you need. For around $7 US, Clash Royale was selling 2 book of books, 250k gold, 1 set of trade tokens, and 5,000 season tokens. Starting with the trade tokens, since you can get 250 common cards, 50 rare cards, 25 epic cards, and 1 legendary card with them, I'd happily say that that's worth around $2 to $3, considering that's how much wildcards for each rarity would cost. 5,000 season tokens can also be used to buy an Evo shard and multiple wildcards, so again, I'd say it's worth around $2. But the book of books is the standout here. As I said before, if the person strategically used it to upgrade 2 champions to level 14, it would be worth at least $20 each, and even better, each upgrade would cost 100k gold. But luckily, this deal includes the gold that you need to upgrade these champions, and even then, it has 50k extra gold. I'd consider the gold to be worth around $3 here, since $5 can get you a Hoggy Bank with 500k gold, but that's a limited time offer. This makes the deal on the right worth around $48, making the deal at least 7 times value, which for Supercell standards is absolutely insane. For me, it's easily the best deal in the entire video, especially since this was presented to players after the Pass Royale was nerfed, and this deal alone provided more value than the Pass Royale at the time. I hope you did enjoy this video though. Thanks for watching.